Okay, so to start with, on the left here we have these two ribbon controllers. Now the first one is pitch bend. The second one is vibrato. So we can introduce modulation of the pitch. Okay, so starting in this section here we have our LFO. Now the LFO allows us to introduce modulation of different parameters. Now vibrato is an obvious example of that. That's modulation of the oscillator's pitch. Alternatively, we could modulate the filter cutoff. So that's our LFO. The next section here is our DCO, or digitally controlled oscillator. Now the original oscillator on the 106 from the 80s had an analog oscillator, but it was controlled digitally, which meant it was more stable in terms of tuning. So that's our DCO. The next section we have is a high pass filter. Now, as I said at the beginning, on the 106, this had 4 points you could set it to, whereas on the JU-06, we have a variable control there, so we can dial it in a smooth way. Now, the next section here we have is the voltage control filter. Now, this is our typical analog style subtractive filter. Next up, we have voltage controlled amplifier, which is where we can set the level. And also we have our amp envelope here, which can also double up as a filter envelope. Down here, we have our bank buttons where we can scroll through banks of presets. And we have our preset number here. And this little display here will show us our preset number. Now, down here, we have some effects. We have chorus 1 and chorus 2. So two different flavors of chorus. There's also a delay actually hidden under the hood, which we'll come to. Now, something else you can see here is there's a sequencer option here. Now, if we hold down chorus 2 in manual, we'll actually trigger the sequencer. And if we press manual, the sequencer will start to play and stop when we press manual again. We're going to come back to the sequencer in a later video. Now, on the back of the synth, we have the micro USB port, which I used to connect my JU-06 to the computer. So as I said, that's how we can transmit MIDI and USB. We have a volume knob, because remember, the JU-06 also has a built-in speaker. We have a headphone jack, an output jack if you want to connect it in a different way to the USB. We also have an input jack. This allows us to use the JU-06's filter on an external sound. And we have the MIDI connectors, so we can connect the JU-06 traditionally using a MIDI cable, and we can also daisy chain the synths together to increase the voices, as I said at the beginning. We also, of course, have the all-important power switch. Okay, so that's a general overview of the synth and the interface. In the next video, we're going to dive in and have a look at how we can select and save presets.